Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I'm Darrell.
And I'm Jeff, and we are DJ Empowerment Group. And welcome back to episode 4 of the Victory Series. Now you hear us say this at the beginning of every video. We created this series to provide content for people out there who are going through some bad struggles and feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We want to let you guys know that you're not alone.
Yep, so episode number 4 was our man Max. He went through struggles at an early time in his life. At the age of 16, he left home. He dropped out of school and ended up getting married. But now he's blessed with 3 beautiful daughters. He's helped build an IT company, and now he's living life to the max. This is episode number 4.
Let's go.
Hey, my name is Max, and this is my victory story. I'm Max. The upbringing, I raised in Texas, born in Guatemala. Throughout the years, I've been married for 23 years now. I have 3 beautiful daughters. Most people say, "Oh my God, you got 3 daughters," but it's probably one of the biggest blessings that. At the end of the day, for me, I get treated like a king at home, but at the same time, I got 3 beautiful princesses that I can always take care of. 2 have, are one's in college, the other one's about to graduate, and we'll be pushing forward with this youngest one. She's got about 5 years to go, but we're excited, at who they've become, the young ladies that they've become, and what they're pursuing in terms of their career. From myself, I'm a technologist by day, technology executive. I run application development teams. I run server hardware infrastructure teams. I've managed at an organization from startup until actually wind down. We went through a sell-off here recently, and now it's time for a new chapter in life that we're going to go into, and it was an exciting journey. Gave me the experience that I needed, and as well as allowed me to grow and pursue essentially a career where not only was I hands-on in building the organization, but also in managing and developing that technology that the organization was pushing forward. The upbringing, I grew up in a Christian household, and my father and mother, always somebody who were there to provide for us and always made sure that we had absolutely everything we needed. So from a standpoint of support, there was never anything that was lacking from there. Hard-working parents, they, working overnight shifts, working 2 different shifts or 2 different jobs at times. I do remember there were times where me and my brother, I'd have to walk him to the bus, and I'd have to get on on public transportation to get to school and get back. It's not that they weren't there. They were working. They were working to support the household that we are. The relationship with the siblings and my parents, we were definitely close. My brother and my sister, we're far apart. I probably got 6 years between me and my brother, and another 6 years between me and my sister. From a personal standpoint, being young, there's different avenues that people take. Some people, they're more responsible about their situation. In my case, I slightly rebellious. As I hit age 15, 16, I was very distracted. That's when I met who's my wife now. She was my girlfriend at the time, and we went through some challenges where we ended up getting married at the age of 16. So we met. I think we were maybe 10 or 11. She'll kill me because I got it wrong, but we were 10 or 11. Both of our parents went to a church here in Garland. We met at Garland, and that's ultimately where we met. At the time, she didn't. We were kind of like, oh, she's my girlfriend. He's my boyfriend. He's my boyfriend or whatever. But At 10, 11 years old, it's like, it's just to say that I have a girlfriend or say that I have a boyfriend. And, you know, the funniest part is, the one thing that I remember, and it was probably at about age 12, where her sister was getting married, and her sister's walking. She was a bridesmaid in the wedding, and I'm standing there, and my father nudges me with his elbow, and he says, "Look," and I look. He goes, "That's what I want to be my daughter-in-law." And I'm like, "Dad, shut up! You know, you're crazy. What are you talking about?" And, you know, over time we grew closer. 14, 15 came around, and we became friends, and we started dating. And you know, at that point I said, you know what, this is who I want to be with. I want to spend the rest of my life with her. We had no idea what we were getting into, and we, you know, still in high school, still trying to get through high school. And you know, at one point decided, well, school isn't for us. My father walked into my room, and he was always one that he didn't express a whole lot of emotion, but he walked into my room that day and he said, "So what's going on with school?" And I explained it to him. I said, "It's probably not for me." And he says, "What do you mean?" And you know, he says, you're probably going to be a street guy, a guy who lives on the street, a homeless guy that will end up there." And you know, that sunk in to my head when the moment he told me that. You know, after we had that conversation, I stopped to think, what am I doing? What's happening? Moved in with one of my wife's sisters, and lived there for a few months. And you know, at that point, then found another roommate. And so we bounced around a lot, moving around a lot. Probably the hardest thing was just trying to make ends meet, and the struggle of making ends meet was probably one of the hardest challenges that we went through. And then ultimately growing up together, because that's what we did. We raised each other. The mindset and the motivation to keep it going. I really didn't want to go back home. You know, after not because I hated my father or I hated my parents. I didn't. I loved them to death. But I also the motivation that I had in my mind and what I wanted to pursue was, I wanted to prove my father wrong. I wasn't going to be someone homeless living on the street, and I wanted to prove that I could do it. You know, I would see people out there that were doing it, that were advancing, and I said, what's stopping me from doing it? And the only thing that I quickly discovered that would stop me was myself. There wasn't anything else. I started digging into what can I do with life if I'm no longer going to school, or you know. And I also now that I'm married, I got a household that I got to start bringing up and carrying forward. And so, you know, a couple years went by, we had our first daughter. By this point, I was still working in that same avenue, same arena, but I also saw an ad and an advertisement that said, "Hey, we're hiring in a data center." Went for it, dove for it. You know, they said, "What have you done?" I took a couple programming classes in high school, and I said, "This is what I have done. This is where I went with it." And they said, "Okay, you're hired." There was a guy there that, you know, he's sort of, I'll call him the guy who pushed me to pursue the career that I materialize now. He pushed me into saying, "Well, you can start teaching yourself. You don't necessarily have to go to school. Start learning, you know, enroll in this class." I enrolled at Eastfield for a couple classes, and then I went to Richland. And I said, "Look, I don't have time. I got a daughter on the way, I got a baby on the way, I don't have time to do it." And he says, "No," he says, "pick up books. Just start reading books, and you'll see that it'll start to materialize. You'll start teaching yourself, and you'll pick it up. I'll help you along the way." So I bought my first book. $60 is what I spent on it, and it was an expensive book for me at the time. Spending $60 on a textbook, I just not something that I could easily afford. It was the first book I bought. Started reading it. I said, "Okay, wow, you know, this thing's intriguing me." Over time, I developed a collection of about 10 to 12 different books, all teaching me either programming or teaching me, how to network, or how to just anything, how to operate a computer essentially, or how to build applications for it. Throughout this time period, we're probably now at about year 2000, 2001. Now my second daughter's here. It's a year and a half later, and she's here, and at that point, I really felt like, how do I start using this knowledge that I have, or how do I start applying it to where I'm at? I got a job at another firm that was starting up at about 2001. I got a job in another firm where it was a startup firm, and the first thing the CEO came to me and said, well, you're responsible for making sure that all applications stay online. You're responsible for building the infrastructure of what's here, but we don't have any money. So we got to figure out how to do it for free. Back in my mind, I'm thinking, how am I going to do this for free? Ultimately, others may think, oh, no, there's no way to do it. You got to give me money to do it. That particular challenge and that struggle of having to teach myself how to learn something, because everybody's going to tell you, I don't have time to go to school. I don't have time to go do this. At the end of the day, it's a matter of managing your schedule and managing your time. For me specifically, as we were coming up and as we were bringing up this organization, it's what started in 2001 turned into, later on throughout the years, turned into an environment where we were a multi-million-dollar organization, making, and it was a huge enterprise, developing websites or, doing a lot of third-party logistics. I look back when I first started, when we first got married in '96 at 16. I look back over the last 23 years of my life, and I see, number one, the story that I want to get out there is, it's not the end of the road just because you've been hit with a challenge, or you've been forced, you've been dealt a hand that you didn't know what it was going to be, or you chose that hand. Self-teaching, self-taught is possible. It's something where at the end of the day, if you don't have time to go to school, you have time to teach yourself. It requires discipline, requires a lot of dedication into it, and look for motivation outside of it. It's not, some people will say, well, I never graduated high school, I never went to college, or I never had a formal education. At the end of the day, it's more about how what you learn, what you pick up, but at the same time, it's to how much you desire what's there. You hear about people saying, well, this is all I'm going to do. All I'm going to do is be this labor worker out here that, at the end of the day, this is all I can do. When reality is, it's not all you can do. Don't let a failure set you back. A failure is just there to allow you to bounce back and jump back into, what is going to be successful for you.
So we hope you're inspired by Max's story. You see, we've told you we do this for one reason, and one reason only, is because we want to encourage, inspire, and empower you to keep pushing and to go be great. And see, life is going to throw us all kind of twists and turns, but if we have a great foundation, if we stay the course, man, we'll come out victorious on the other side. And what Max's story told us was that we could be a high school dropouts. We could get married at a young age. Life could throw us all kind of challenges, but if we keep persevering, the beauty on the other side of it is so great. He has 3 beautiful daughters. He helped build a multi-million-dollar IT company. And now he's living life to his fullest. So just like we always tell you, keep pushing. Is life tough? Yes, I've told you before, it's tough. Keep pushing. Is life going to be hard? Is it going to knock you down? Absolutely. Stand back up and keep pushing. Man, on the other side of this thing is so much joy. We told you before, you are made in the image of God. There's no more, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You were born to be great. You were destined to be great. Stop with the negativity. Guys, God didn't call you to be a victim. He called you to be a victor. So go be victorious, straight up.
As always, guys, thanks for checking out the channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we want to thank you guys for showing so much love to the Victory series, man. It's meant a lot to us, and it's meant a lot to the people who've been in the videos. Is also, like I said, we created this content to provide to people out there who are just going through struggles, and we want to let them know that they're not alone. And we're going to continue to say this in every video that you see us in. Please make sure to share this out to as many people as possible. We're trying to reach people all across the globe and let them know that we're with you guys, and we want to help you through all your struggles. To find more content from us, make sure to check out our website at www.djempowerment.com. And if you missed out on the last video, check out our Victory playlist. And as always, guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Straight up.